Are you looking to play the greatest game out right now? What is often called the fastest game on 2 feet? Well, if you are, play lacrosse. My name is Luke Pike, and I'm here to tell you today about what I consider to be the best sport around right now. Now, speaking from personal experience, I have played lacrosse since I was in 5th grade, and I am now a senior in high school. I had just wrapped up my senior lacrosse season. Now, like many of you, I would assume, I have never, or going into my 5th grade year when I was planning on playing lacrosse, I never really heard of it up until that point. I went into my first practice essentially blind. I had never, thrown with a stick, never watched lacrosse on TV, never really had any exposure to lacrosse up until that point. And luckily for me, there was a rec league in my town where I could play it. So from that point on, I thought, going into it, this would be another sport like basketball or football for me, where I just went into it and, played it for 1 or 2 years and just kind of took it lightly, just kind of took it as something to do. But I fell in love with the sport, as I feel many of you could do, because it takes all of the elements of the greatest sport, the other greatest sports like football, basketball, soccer, hockey, even baseball to a degree, and creates it and joins it and puts it together into one sport. But on top of that, it's unique. It's its own thing. It's not just a wrap up, or just not just a amalgamation of everything else. It's a sport that takes the fast, physical, and hard-hitting aspects of football, but eliminates the pauses between plays, eliminates, the more injuries in a football game, and it's better, it's safer for your body, it's better for you in that sense, and it takes that nature and combines it with the speed, the more speed, the fast breaks, the pick and roll, and all those aspects of basketball, and it combines it into a sport that's very similar to hockey, but different in its own way. It's different because whereas hockey is 5-on-5, lacrosse is 10v10, but that's just, I don't know, it's just unique, and that uniqueness is what appealed to me and what I feel like could appeal to you and would make you fall in love with the sport the same as I have. Now, I would ask you, what sports have you played? Commonly it'd be soccer and basketball. I feel like lacrosse could get to those levels if it had the same levels of exposure that soccer and basketball have, even football, or actually, if it had the same exposure as football, I think it would overtake it in popularity. Like I said before, because it combines all the great aspects of sports and crosses them together into one. It's just a sport that I feel deserves so much more and that I have gotten so much out of. And I feel like it just needs, where it is growing, there's a new league, there's a new professional league on NBC that's allowing it for more nationwide exposure. It's still a sport that's dominated on the East Coast, and with more exposure and with more people hearing about it and talking about it and playing it, it could be the next great American pastime. As you see right now, the numbers for football, baseball, and other sports, other traditional American sports, are falling off. Football due to the just destructive nature of the game, and baseball because people say it's too slow. Lacrosse eliminates both those things, where it is still a hard-hitting game, a hard physical game, but not to the degree of football. And it's not as slow as baseball, as there's constant action like in basketball. So if brought to the national attention, lacrosse could be the sport of the future, and what I believe will be the sport of the future, and if you're looking at it from a purely objective perspective, is one true American sport, as it was the sport created and played by the natives. So thank you for your time, and I really hope you consider playing lacrosse.